decide on something. What I'm going to do now pass these around. Did you have another piece of paper? Okay. Choose one that's not yours. One that's not Got it.
This one looks fun.
Small package. Can I get one from you? Okay. You have, you have a list of physical and emotional qualities. And what you are going to do is to choose 6 words from those lists. I would like you to have at least 1 or 2 from each list, not all physical, some from the emotional side. But you can choose which of those words you're going to work with, or which of those entries you're going to work with. You don't have to try to understand what the person who wrote those words was thinking. If she put small and she's thinking this big, it's okay if your small is this big. I mean, it's not, you're not trying to guess what was intended or guess what the object was. You're just working with the words. So choose 4 to 6 words that you will be working with to create an object. We're not going to do like serious objects in the next hour, and that's the time we have left. So, and then choose techniques from this list, 1 or 2 or 3, that you will use, materials from there and around the room to make an object using your words. So there's no limit on the amount of materials, no limit on the number of techniques, but I would discipline myself not to get too crazy. And what you're going to do is design this object, enough to be able to explain it to us as the group. So what you might do, if you were working from, I don't know what the words would be, let's say small, shiny, that would be too easy because they're shiny over here. Small, shiny, and Aunt Anne, and sad. Those were the words you're looking at. So you think, okay, shiny, what materials would I use for shiny? Is that sad? How can I make shiny sad? Is it sad because Aunt Anne died, or because she had an unhappy life and she lived in the 50s and that's when she died, and that was, I mean, you can construct kind of a story about these things for yourself. So you will probably work on paper, I would suggest, writing some ideas down, where you think you might go, start looking at materials, think about the technique. The thing that will happen is the materials dictate the techniques, and the techniques dictate the materials. So if you want to do looping, knotless netting, you're going to have a linear element of some sort. You can't do that with a flat sheet of paper. That's not the way it works. So how you can come into this activity from the ideas, from the materials, from the techniques, and you'll sort of keep working around that. Come up with maybe a drawing, maybe a small model if you wanted to, if you knew the shape you wanted it to be, and it was going to have stitching on it, so that you could hold this up and say it's going to be this big, and I'm going to do stitching, and maybe you actually do some stitching on it, and to be able to explain it as fully as possible to the rest of us, what your process was, because that's what this is about. It's not about a product, it's about a process. What your process was, working from materials, techniques, ideas, to design a thing. the thing could be this size, it could be as big as this room. You know, say you wanted to do something that was a basket that hung from the ceiling that came down to the floor. You can design that because we're not making it. So that could be, don't limit yourself to what we think of as this size. Questions? There are paints, if you want to do color swatches, the yarns and the fabrics, again, you know this room better than I do. If there's something that's already been made that gives you a sense of the surface that you might want, that's okay. But try to create as much of it yourself as you can. Okay? Questions? Okay, let's do this. It's 10 of 12. How long are we here?
Till 1:50, but we'll have to clean up.
Well, if you work till 1 and we, what do you think about timing? You know more about, and then to be able to talk.
They have some stuff to turn in.
Okay.
So maybe half an hour, 12:30?
12:30? 12:30? It's your deadline. Okay.
Because we're gonna have to talk about